Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Lunch with Linda. It is Monday, March 10th, 2025, and I am Linda Daniels, and you are now inside Northampton Wolves on this bright, sunny day after the day that we switched the time last weekend. Aren't you so sick and tired of all the discussion? In fact, we just fix it.
Time should just stay the same, right?
Just let's stay the same.
Can time just be what it is?
Back and forth. It gets harder the older we get. And the really horrible news is that my husband went for a stress test this morning, which is not good because don't they say that especially with the jump ahead and the loss of the hour's sleep, heart attacks are more likely than ever?
Oh no. I know, I feel tired.
I know. You're tired. Hopefully he passes with flying colors. Anyway, I am back from our Escape to the Cape weekend. And if any of you were at the weekend, hello and welcome and thanks for joining us today. We had an absolutely wonderful time, as I'm sure Eileen, if nobody else, will attest to. It was a wonderful group of people. I cannot tell you how much I enjoyed everybody. Many of the people that came I knew or had been before, but there were some new people there too, and that made it very, very special. They all got along. We filled the room, so 30 people is the maximum number that we can do on that Cape weekend, but it was comfortable at that number. But we had a great time playing with doodle decks and learning how to doodle, and some of the tips and tricks that I was able to share really made the experience for everybody, I think, really fun. You saw, hopefully,
Pause.
the
Switch mics. Oh. Mine's louder somehow.
Okay. Technical issues. We had an Instagram post that I put up when I made these two doodle hats. These are the same pattern and the same chart work, but in different color combinations, and you can see how it really makes a difference. A lot of the people there were surprised at how much of a difference it makes. It almost doesn't even look like the same hat. I can show all of these to you now. This is one of the samples that I did with all of the small little basic doodles. These are called Peeries in Fair Isle speak. There's that one. And then I did this Real Autumn collection in Madeline Tosh Vintage. This is from the Autumn Doodle deck, except for the squirrels. Those came from something else, from Pinterest. And then Eileen very kindly knit this sample from the Ocean deck. And I love how this came out. Wow, it's so pretty. So very, very pretty. They were really, really fun. We had like I said, a great time. Everybody at least got theirs started. A lot of people got all the way up to where they were ready to finish them, and they're all going to send me pictures. I did take pictures and some video, and Kate will be putting that together, and we'll have a little wrap-up Instagram post a little bit later on in the week. But one of the other things that we got in new are all of these little tags that I've put on all of our samples for cowls. So this one is a little sheep, and then we have handmade ones. Everybody that came this weekend got one of these to put on their cowl, and this guy too. And then both of these hats have sheep as well.
Okay.
And if you,
little legs are hanging
I know. If you love those and want one, we have an entire bowl full of them for you. The sheep come in 3 colors, and they come in this beige color.
They're so small.
I know. They come in a gray and a brown, and it actually looks like there might be a little bit of variation in the browns, one kind of dark and one kind of light.
like a chestnut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And these are really simple to put on. Adrian and I already folded it up and attached the hardware so that it won't loosen. But the sheep, it's almost like a little snap. It just comes apart. The sheep is a tag like that folds in half. And you stick this part through the holes. Oh, wait a minute. If I'm going to show you, I should show you. Yeah, we'll do a video of this. But you wrap it around the fabric, then stick the part with the post through the whole piece, and then stick that other part onto the post, the end of the post, and that keeps it all on the hat and together. We'll do a close-up video of that because I'm like my arms are getting tired.
Yeah, it's hard to see.
Anyway, and then the other ones, some of them have a screw and it does the same thing, but you just screw it in. So like I said, these are $1. We've got a ton of them if you want to start adding those to your hats or cowls. The other thing is that now that the weekend is over, people that came on the weekend had first choice in purchasing extra doodle decks. Although they did get a deck of their choice when they attended, we can now make some of these available to you. We have these are half decks: the garden doodle deck, the holiday, the Valentine's, which is basically just lots of hearts.
Oh, there's lips too.
And lips and I love yous. The fantasy, which actually Mariana that works for me already knit a fantasy doodle deck, and romance, something frilly. And then here I have the farm doodle deck open so you can see what comes in it. That's the picture on the outside. When you purchase the doodle deck, you get a how to doodle instruction card with a little sample of how to line the charts up on the back. You get directions for a standard cowl. So she tells you how many stitches to cast on for the different sizes and how long to go. And then also directions for making a longer infinity cowl. The only thing about the infinity cowl is that because you make it a really long tube, you're always knitting in the round, all of your charts end up sideways. So all your chickens will be laying down instead of standing up.
Yeah.
But it's another option.
For some, that's appropriate. Like for my fall deck, I'm going to do a bunch of leaves, and sideways leaves.
And sideways is fine. But this is what the charts look like. And on the top, it tells you what it is. And then it also tells you how many stitches in the repeat there are. So there's things like chickens and chicks and bushels full of apples, all kinds of fun things. We've got these decks live on the website if you want to try your hand at them. They're becoming more and more popular. Her name is Jamie, and she just came out with a new set of decks with cats and dogs in them, and it's just a whole lot of fun. You don't have to make a cowl. We talked a lot over the weekend about making it into hats. I kind of like the idea of hats and headbands almost better than the cowl, just because when you wear a cowl, it kind of gets all scrunched up, so you don't really get to see or enjoy the whole pattern. It might be on Ravelry. I think it's something that I actually saw on Instagram. There is a knit-along going on right now of making doodle sweaters, and those are intense. Top down, doodles all the way down. All kinds of different colors and charts. But that stuff now is available to all of you. Whenever you want to take a closer look, we'll have the models here in the store so you can look at those as well. And the fun thing is you can do them out of any weight yarn. It doesn't even have to be a specific weight. The only parameter is that you need to have a multiple of, at the most, 24 stitches, multiples of 24, or whatever goes into 24. Kate has started to knit a sample with one of our new summer yarns that I wanted to show you as well. And she's got everything all nice and tidy in her snap bag, so we thought we'd show you that. First of all, in the zippered pocket, she has the little mini needle set that I've shown you before. And she used this to do a gauge swatch with this yarn. This is the new Earth Cotton and Linen. It's 77% cotton and 23% linen, and they are recommending needles from size 4 up to size 7. It is at that, it's going to work then from 20 to 24 stitches to an inch. And this isn't the softest feeling yarn, but with that much linen in it, it also isn't the hardest feeling yarn either. And I was really happy with Kate's swatch because she has soaked it in Eucalyptus so that you can really begin to feel right away how much the yarn is going to soften. And like any linen and cotton, the more it's handled or worn and the more it's washed, it's just going to get softer and softer and softer. So Kate did this first tiny little bit on a size 4, then a size 5, and she put in a garter line, a size 6, another garter line, a size 7, a garter line, and then she topped it off on a size 8 needle. And you can pull that in a little bit closer. I'm really happy and impressed with how the size 8 needle looks. There's a lot of stretch in it, and it's so soft up at the very top gauge. You're going to go with the size 7, you said? You think?
Look at the pattern. The pattern wants 5 stitches to the inch.
So which ever one of those? They all look great,
Yeah, they do.
but it's also pretty impressive how that once you start to open the stitch up, instead of knitting it really tight, and this isn't really tight, but recommending, this is, the size 5 needle is probably about 5.5 stitches. This is probably about 5 right here.
Yeah.
But opened up even more at the, like it's probably 4 3/4 and then 4 up at the top, 4.5, something like that. How much softer it looks. But it also depends on how you want to wear it. Kate's going to use this yarn, the Artesia, this is the earth yarn, to make a tank top. And so she doesn't want it to be so light that it ends up being see-through.
Yeah.
She does want to have it be a fabric. But we'll have this sample here so that you can look at this as well. And this comes in a bunch of really great summer colors. It would be the perfect little, even top-down, short-sleeved raglan cardigan. Fun to knit, quick to knit. Really, really simple. And the stitch integrity is really great. So you can do all kinds of simple stitch pattern, knit and purl, basket weave, seed stitch, anything like that. Cables are going to look fantastic in this yarn as well.
I was knitting with it. It felt very durable.
Yeah. The one thing she didn't like was knitting on the size 4 needle, and that is one of the recommended needle sizes, but it's so tight at that gauge that it's actually hard to get into the stitch. And because this is a cotton plied yarn, I said to her, that's going to mean that your chances of splitting those stitches are higher. When you have to fight that hard to get into the stitch, that's when your needle doesn't go through the entire thing.
We have a question from Paula, if that yarn would work for the cloud sweater.
Paula, it's a little bit too light for the cloud, although look and see, I think she might have done a cloud in a worsted weight gauge. The cloud sweater that we did in the class was the bulky weight, size 10 needle. So look and see if she did a lighter weight cloud as well. A lot of times the designers now are doing that, both sections. Is my mic working?
I think so.
Okay. I see you looking at yours going, I'm wondering.
Eileen said that she couldn't hear me, so I tried to say it loud.
Yeah, is my green light on?
Where is the green light?
I don't know. Oh well.
Is it underneath? Flip it.
Yes, mine's green. Yours isn't. Okay.
All right.
I'm on.
All right.
You're not.
Whatever. Here, it should actually be.
Doesn't matter.
We're gonna.
See if you have to turn it on or something. Okay. Ba-bum bum. What do I have on? I can tell you right away. This is the Micah vest. And I did this as a class a little while ago. We have our wrap-up class this Friday. And I want to show it to you. Here it is. Kate can hold it. This is by Esti Yuango. And it is knit in the round in a DK weight yarn. From the bottom up. It's not top down. It is a pattern on Ravelry, Mika, Micah vest. This pattern, once you get the knitting, the patterns established, it's basically a ribbed side section and then the cable and yarn over pattern in the middle. Once you get the markers in and get the patterns established, the actual knitting of the patterns is not difficult. But I will warn you, if you do decide to make it, the setup 2 rounds will make you a little bit crazy. Just because there's a lot of information that you need to know at once. And the pattern itself, delightfully, isn't more than 3 pages. But it means that you're looking here, then you're looking here, then you're looking there to get all the patterns going. That's what we found most difficult in the class, was to get everything sorted out and established and where one pattern led into the next. Once that's done, the knitting itself is really very easy. I did this in a DK weight yarn from my stash, but I pulled out yarns that we have that I think would make a great spring into summer vest. One of them is the Baby Alpaca Sport EC. This is the EC stands for Easy Care, which means that you can machine wash it on a gentle cold cycle, but don't put it in the dryer. But there are some great summer colors. This has a really nice tight spin to it, so it will really show the stitch patterns up beautifully. And we've got that in a bunch of different colors. And the yardage on it is between 600 to 1,300 yards, depending on the size. And she did quite a few sizes, including some very big ones. So something like this is 120 something yards. So you're looking at about 6 skeins for something like this. Yeah, actually less than that, because it's 164 yards. So maybe just 4 or 5 skeins of the alpaca. The other thing that I pulled out that I think will make a great summer vest is the pompano. This is that merino wool and linen blend that we got from Plymouth Yarn, and a little bit of bamboo. Man, I think that would look great in this vest. I might make this again, because this, I love this. I love the way it came out. And you don't often see me wearing vests, but I really like them, especially at this time of year. This is perfect sweater weather as far as I'm concerned. You're ready to ditch that heavy winter coat. So this was just perfect. And I think it looks really nice. Yeah. And then the other one that I pulled out is the sonnet. This is also the merino wool, mulberry silk, and bamboo. Now we have other DKs as well, but I think these 3 choices, you would really enjoy making it for, like I said, spring into summer. It doesn't have to be cotton. It can still be these lightweight wools and blends. And like I said, that pattern is Micah, the Micah vest on Ravelry. So today we are lucky enough to have Brianna here with us. Now, Bri has been working for me for a while. Here she is. Hi, Brianna.
Your mic on your other lapel.
Okay, I will do that.
Okay.
Closer to you,
Perfect.
Because I think
because your mic isn't working.
we'll see. I don't know.
We didn't check to make sure that the thing said they were both on, but that's all right. So here's Brianna. Yay!
Love you.
How long have you been working for me? Do you remember? 3 years? Oh my gosh.
Time flies.
Cannot be. Cannot be.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Brianna has agreed to teach a brioche class. And this is a photograph of her basic, let you hold that up, her basic 2-color brioche cowl. Shove that in there.
Wow. Reversible?
Brioche ends up being, 2-color brioche ends up being reversible. Now I know from experience that many of you are terrified, Eileen, of brioche. But Brianna is here to tell you that it is doable. What made you decide to tackle brioche?
It was like the 3rd knitting project I ever did. And
What?
I
The
didn't
3rd?
know any better
Oh my gosh.
at the time. That,
Doesn't that happen to so many of us
Yeah.
that you just like, I cannot tell you how many beginners come in and decide they want to do a multicolor sweater as their first sweater. So what happened when you started it?
I cried a lot. And I want to teach this class because I want everybody else to have some support while they do it, because in a group you can figure it out. It's really not that hard.
Yeah, so brioche is basically doing what? Doing a yarn
So
over?
yarn over and then knitting them together on the next row.
So once you understand how the stitches kind of lay together or sit together, and what you're doing, the other stitch you're slipping,
Yes.
or knitting or purling, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not, the knitting itself isn't difficult, it's just decoding what's on the needle. Now this is a basic brioche, but you've done other things as well.
Yes, I've done a lot of complicated brioche stuff since then. I really like how much you have to think about it. It's a lot of
So
work.
you have several samples that you're going to bring in next week.
Yep.
And we're going to do a class, Brianna's going to teach the class on Wednesday, March 19th. So that's coming up in a couple of weeks from 11 to 2. So we're going to do a 3-hour class. And what will people need to bring?
Size 8 needles and 2 colors of worsted weight yarn in colors that contrast well.
And should is a normal worsted weight skein
Yes,
big
one
enough?
skein of each.
All right. So if you are ready to try to brave brioche or conquer brioche, Brianna's going to be the one to help you do it. The class is listed on our website, so you can sign up for it right now, and then come on in and get materials. Bria's going to be here again on Wednesday, and she'll bring her samples in so that you can take a good look at them as well. We really encourage you to try it. If you are a Stephen West fan, he uses brioche a lot in a lot of his designs, and we're seeing Earth Yarns, one of the designers that they have doing patterns for them, is also using a lot of brioche. So I really think it's a tool or a skill or technique that you should have in your arsenal of stitches, and this is a nice, easy way to kind of tack it or learn it. Thanks, Bri.
Of course.
Then we finally, I cannot believe that next month it will.
The class is in person. Somebody asked.
Oh yeah, it is in person, and brioche really needs to be in person. You really need to be sitting with somebody or a group of people in order to do it. There are, like everything, there's a lot of YouTube video on it. Nancy Marchand is the only one that I would really trust because she is sort of the queen of brioche, and that was what I was going to say. Stephen West uses a lot of brioche in some of his designs, and a couple of years ago when I was in Scotland at the Edinburgh Yarn Fest for the first time, I took a class with her, and somebody asked her about Stephen West and brioche, and her comment was, I taught Stephen West everything he knows about brioche. She's written 2 wonderful books. I don't think we have them in stock anymore, but you might be able to find them still, I'm sure, on Amazon. So one of the new yarns, this is also what I was going to say. I cannot believe that it has been a year almost since my trip to Ireland with many of you. I feel like it just happened. We finally have in stock the Carol Feller Nua Sport. And we were lucky enough to have Carol with us for 3 days of that trip. And she was just delightful. She taught us all several workshops, and we got to explore her yarn. She went with us to the mills, to the Kerry Woolen Mills. It was really, really fun and wonderful. So she has a line of yarn herself. This is, like I said, the newest sport, which is 60% merino, 20% yak, and 20% linen. So the merino and the yak make the yarn woolly and soft, but the linen is what gives it its really unique look. All those little hairy, natural colored pieces are the linen, because all three of those fibers take the dyes differently. They all kind of show up and add depth to the color. And boy, do we have some beautiful colors. Look at those. It is really, really great. I just love it. I cannot wait to knit with this. So we've got all of these colors in stock. What a palette. Isn't that great? And they all work really well together. That's the other thing. Well, if you go on Ravelry and look for Nua Sport, you will find a lot of Carol's patterns that she designed. And I pulled 2 of them out because I cannot decide which one I really want to do for a model, or I'm thinking that I might do a little knit along class. The first one is this Ravi Nua. And BBK, if we fold this so that you can really see the texture in that one. That's a fairly simple top down. You can see the garter stitch at the top, then a little bit of lace, and then garter in the bottom. And all that beautiful shaping. You really have to see that picture close up to see the detail in the shaping in the yoke. Love, love, love that one. And then the other one that I think we might do is the Torque cardigan, because this one, it didn't print that well, but if you look it up on Ravelry, you'll see that it is a textured, different stitch patterns, different knits and purls. Hopefully you get a sort of a sense of what that is.
Yeah.
So we're
and it comes in a t-shirt too.
It does come with short sleeves as well. So I'm going to definitely knit one of those as a model for the store. It's 9 weeks right now between now and when I leave for the class in Italy. And I'm thinking that I might be able to fit in a little class on one of these sweaters. So keep your ears and eyes open. I will see if I can figure out a schedule for that and make that happen, because I think you'll really love knitting with this stuff, and I really want you to see what it is like. And speaking of Italy, one last little reminder. Oh, wait a minute. One other little reminder. This week is we're really supposed to start to warm up, and this is, like I said, what I think of as sweater weather. It's sort of the time for those winter sweaters to get their kind of last wear, if you will, before you think about cleaning them, number one, to put them away for summer. And this is the perfect time to begin thinking about that. Whether you wash your sweaters in the machine on gentle in cold water and then lay them outside flat to dry, they'll dry pretty quickly, I think, this week, with the temperatures expected to be in the 50s and maybe close to 60, and they'll be fresh and ready for you to wear again next fall. I would definitely start thinking about doing that to your heaviest winter sweaters.
In direct light or indirect light?
It sort of depends on if it's a plant dyed fiber, you'll want to stay out of direct sunlight. But I also will often cover them with a sheet that sort of protects them, especially because I dry a lot of stuff outside on the deck, protects them from the animals and birds flying by or leaves falling or stuff like that. But it's not so heavy that it prevents them from drying as quickly as possible. So start to think about that. And then, like I said, it's 9 weeks between now and my leaving for Italy. And we're going to work on making a direct link from our website to the Watermill at Posara website, because I just signed the contract with them to teach again on September 19th through the 26th in 2026. And there are people that are signing up for that already. And that is another occasion where the number of people that they take is limited by the size of the number of people they can fit around their dining room table. So if you are at all interested, in another day or two, check our website out. It'll take you right to the Watermill's Posara, and you can see what it's all about and how beautiful it is. And if you have any question at all, you can look at what all of the other knitting teachers are doing and what a wonderful response and testimonials they get from everybody who goes, no matter what they go for, whether it's painting or Italian or knitting. So hopefully I know there's not going to be any doubt that I have a wonderful time. I just want to tell you one quick little thing. This kind of travel is my travel nightmare. It's my nightmare. I should say it this way. When I have a nightmare, it's always about traveling. And on Sunday night, I woke up scared to death that I was standing in front of the desk at the airline and I couldn't remember where I was going. I could not tell them where I needed to go. That's the kind of nightmare I have. All right, you guys.
End on the nightmare. Right. Catch something good.
This is it. Oh, I forgot to show you one more thing. I did this cowl out of the new Anchor Bay cotton and wool from Cascade. So we've got that pattern and that yarn too. So what are you doing sitting around? Go knit something.